Hi, this is Joanne Hewins from lovetocreate.typepad.com. Today I want to show you how to make this card. It is using the new Birds and Branches stamp set. It's a photopolymer stamp set. And to go along with that, the Birds and More dies. And here they are. They're 16 pieces. And let's get started. This is a fun fold. I actually saw this fold from Rachel Tessman. I think she said she saw it from Connie Stewart. It's nice the way people can share and learn from each other. And it actually folds out like this. So I thought that was pretty neat. And we'll go ahead and get started. For this, I used well, let me just show you. In the book, the Birds and Branches stamp set is on page 120, so it's here. And you can see here 4 samples right there of different things that you can make with this card. Or with this bundle. It's really neat. It does come in a bundle, so you can get the stamp set and the dies for 10% savings. And then I'm going to be using the In Good Taste Designer Series paper. It's here on page 148 down here at the bottom. This is a little bit different pack of paper in that it's twice the amount that you get in the other papers, and it has actually 12 different double-sided designs rather than just the 6. And it's very organic. I think it has lots of tiles and woods, and it's just wonderful. So we will be using that. For my card today, I'm going to start out using a different piece of paper than this one. This is soft suede. It is in 5.5 by 8.5, and I'm going to just match my corners here and fold that in half. I'll use my bone folder down the side, and then I'm going to adhere a Whisper White layer and then my Designer Series paper layer, and I want to cut a circle out of this. And I want the circle to be straight all the way through, so it's best if I just cut it all at one time. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit of glue, not a lot, just a little, across the top there. And I'm going to center that in the card, or on the card front. So that's not going to be adhered all the way. We'll do that in a little bit. And then I'm going to take this paper. This is cut at, this one is 4 by 5 1/4. And so this one is, let's see, 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And those measurements are going to be on my blog post, and I'll have a link to that in the description for this. Now what I'm going to do, I want to have this stitched look on my circle, so I'm going to be using the stitched shapes. It's the second largest one, and I'm really not going to go through this. This is going through 3 pieces of paper, so I'm going to have to go back and forth a couple of times with my die cutting machine. I would put that right about there. You want to look and try to get it equal on each side, and maybe you could be up a little higher, a little less space here than here. Cut that through, run that through your die cutting machine. You are going through 3 pieces. I found that after I went through a couple of times and back, it still didn't get through everything. So I ended up turning everything over. It was partially cut and running it through this way, and that would get the rest of that out. So what I'm going to do is switch my bases. We're now on the same base that I have in the original card, and this is just what we've done with the hole cut out already. So now what I want to do is go back and glue these layers. The reason I didn't go ahead and glue the whole thing first is because I wanted my circles that I cut out of here to be separate, because I'm going to use this white circle to go back in with that. So I discarded the soft suede circle. I put this circle in another place thinking I'll use it in another project. And now I'm just going to go ahead and glue down the layers. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue down through there and get that white layer. And then I'll just put a little bit of glue here and get that other layer down flat. Okay, so now we've got the front of the card. And the next thing that I did was work on the inside of the card. So I have a piece of Whisper White. This is cut at 5 1/4 times 8. And I scored it at 4 and 6. I don't know if you can see those score lines, but 4 and 6. So I'm going to fold that. It looks like I'm folding it backwards to what you would for the card. And then I'm going to fold this one this way. So it's really a Z fold in there. And then I'm going to bring in my bone folder to give that a good crease in there. All right, and before I go any further, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment that goes there. It's called Let's Celebrate You. Okay, and that sentiment, I believe, is from the Celebrate Sunflowers stamp set. I'm going to stamp that in soft suede. Okay, and I'm going to stand up real quick. Oops, now I just made a mess. I made a mess on the whole thing. Okay, I'm going to switch my folds to this way, and we'll try it again. Ah, okay. I was so afraid that wasn't going to work. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is put glue on this back part and glue that to the inside of the card. I'm so glad paper has more than one side. Okay, so this is going to go in the card here. There is a little bit of room to have an edge, and now it's going to go like this in the card. All right, so we want to glue in our circle, and to do that, what I'm going to do is close this. I'm going to put the glue right in here on this section, not over the fold, and then I'm going to lay this right inside. And that way I know that my placement of the circle will be perfect. Okay, so I can open this, and there is my card. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to bring in that other card again and open that up so you can kind of see what we're working with now. Okay, so the dies of this has a long stem It's really, really pretty. And I'm going to be using 3 of these. I cut them already from Just Jade. That's one of our new colors. See how pretty that is. And I'm going to glue that across here so that that goes off of the circle and on up into this part. Now, the catalog has, or the new catalog has an adhesive that I think we'll be able to cut out and then peel off and adhere these intricate pieces. They had that at one time. I think it was discontinued, and I think it's back. But I'm just going to use my regular glue for that today. And I'm going to glue that up toward the corner and across. Okay. And I think I'm going to bring in some scissors and just snip that a little. Okay, I've got a little bit of glue there. I don't have anything to try to get that off up close or close to me. I'd probably take some kind of eraser in a little bit, and well, that's working, and get that off. Okay, now we're going to need to do some stamping. We also have some other stamps we want to add to the front here, but I think we'll go ahead and do our stamping and get that adhered. So I have a piece of scrap here, and the stamping that we're going to do is 2 of the nest. We'll need a nest on the inside and 1 on the outside. So we need 2 of the nest, and then 1 bird and 1 set of eggs. So I'm going to stamp the nest in soft suede, and I'm just going to start way over here at the edge of my paper so I can get everything on one piece. So there's one of my nest. Here's the other one. And then I'm going to change colors. And the bird is going to be an early espresso ink. And the eggs are going to be in balmy blue. Now these eggs, you can see, are all on one stamp, and when we cut them out, we'll cut them out all at one time, but we'll end up with 3 different eggs. So I'm going to pull this out of the way and bring in my die cutting machine. And we'll work on getting that done. Okay, I have my base plate, this plate, clear plate, and then we'll put in our paper and our dies. So, get the dies. And I'm going to use a little bit of washi tape to hold my things in place as I go across. Actually, I'm going to zip that further. And then we'll do the bird. And then the nest. And we'll have to cut out the nest twice. Okay, so we'll put this top on and roll that through. Okay. And there are my eggs. And my bird. And then we're going to cut out one more of the nest. I'm really looking forward to the new die cut machine that Stampin' Up! Has. It's not ready to order yet, hopefully soon. But it has a magnetic plate that is a solid magnet. The one that we had with the Big Shot had like circles of magnets, and with some of the small dies, they would move around, and it would be hard to control. So I'm really looking forward to this next one. Okay, for the bird, I'm going to color the top right up in here with a light smoky slate blend. And then I'm going to color in the stomach or the tummy with a light real red. All right, and we're ready to assemble the inside part here. So we're going to start with the nest, and you want to remember that you don't want to glue on the other side of this circle. So I'm just going to kind of put this down here, and let me find my sample. And I'm going to just glue this down. I'm just going to put the glue kind of right in here. I want to be able to stick my bird down a little bit in there, but I don't want it to be glued under that. I'm going to turn that around and make sure. Okay. And I noticed that I did get a little bit of glue a little bit past where I should. That's where a little eraser or something would come in handy to get that off. And like I said, I don't have one with me right now. I'm going to go ahead and add my bird. Just going to put a little bit of glue on there and stick my bird just under here on the nest. And then for the eggs, okay, I probably would have used a glue dot, but I don't have any right here, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on there. That's just as good. And get my eggs in. Okay, so there's the bird and the eggs. So that would close like that. Okay, now for the front of the card, I'm going to adhere my little leaves first before I do the nest. So one of these, I'm just going to stick some glue on there real quick, goes down toward the bottom of the card. So I'm going to put that way down there near the bottom, and I'm going to do this. And sorry about that. Now, I don't want anything with glue to stick out over this circle, so I'm just going to clip some of this out of the way through that circle so there's no glue there. Okay, so I have that one. And then I'm going to close it to put this other one down. And what I want is to make this stem follow the other one. So I'm actually just going to cut a little of this off and put a little bit of glue here and extend that up. And then I'll trim that right at the edge. And then I'm going to cut off this one. And we'll do the same. Now I think I just ended up, I think these two leaves were probably the same. I don't think it's going to make much difference. So then I'm going to lift this up and clip that end. All right, so now all we have to do is add our nest. And I want to use the nest here to help me with the placement of this nest. But remember, you don't want glue to go in the center here. So what I'm going to do is put the glue down here toward the bottom. And then we will match up the nest. And hopefully, I don't have glue, just a little bit. We'll wipe that off. Okay, and there we have the card. Okay, now I probably could have put that bird over a little bit more to the left there so you could see more of it, but I still think that looks pretty good. Okay, so there you go. Now, as the 3D item that I am making to go with the card, this is for the One Stamp at a Time blog hop. I have a little bottle with birdseed and a tag, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about this. This is actually a salt shaker. I got a 2-pack, I think, at Walmart a long time ago, and so we just filled that up with birdseed to kind of go along with the title. And then we are using a 2-inch piece of white paper and the delightful, I think it's delightful tack topper. This is cut at 2 inches. And I've got a little bit of a spot here. Let me cut that off. And then I'm not going to make the whole tag, but what I did is cut one more of the stem, and I really started at the top and fixed it so that it just went off a little bit and then down into the corner here. And then I built up another nest. The 3 eggs, I did both of the birds and colored them the same way and added all of that. The nest and the birds are all added with dimensionals, and I think the eggs are just on glue dots back behind there. And then I just trimmed it even with the bottom there. The word friend comes from the Lovely You stamp set, and it actually says cherished friend. I just stamped that in Early Espresso and cut around the friend part and glued that down. For the top, I will admit that was a little bit hairy to get that on there, and what I did for that is I use the designer paper, I use the layering circles dies, and the very largest scalloped die. And that will fit down over the top. And I will tell you that I added actually a little glue dot here. I centered the paper on there and pulled it down and kind of made the pleats around the outside. And I went ahead and added some glue dots in the pleats to hold that down. And then my husband actually held it for me while I tied one piece of the linen thread around and got it in a knot and held that into place. And then I actually took another length of the linen thread and wound it around, I think 3 more times, and tied a knot, and then I tied the tag to that. I did add the tag securely to the bottle with a glue dot. So that's how all of that came together. So all of this is made using the Birds and More stamp set. I'm sorry, the Birds and Branches stamp set and the Birds and More dies. So it's a really fun stamp set, and I hope that you'll try using it. If you need supplies, you can go to lovetocreate.typepad.com, and as I said, I'll have the post linked there in the comments, and you can go there and get all of the measurements, all of the directions, and love to have you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.